Hi everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're diving into the world of conversational AI. If you've ever felt limited by basic chatbot subscriptions, this video is for you. We're going to get rid of those limitations and build a sophisticated virtual agent from scratch using Google's conversational agents, formerly known as Dialogflow CX. In this video, we will use a realistic scenario, leveraging publicly available product details of the Santander Bank personal loan to build a realistic loan assistant chat agent. Our bot will perform three main tasks: answer questions related to the product, calculate monthly loan payments in real time, and save inquiring customers' information to a Google Sheet. By the end, you will have a powerful AI tool that helps your business 24/7. Google Cloud's conversational agents is a powerful enterprise platform for building scalable AI. While the visual console looks simple, mastering its complexity takes more than intuition. This tutorial skips the guesswork, guiding you through the complex pieces to build a truly professional, task-oriented chatbot. This tool utilizes two primary methods for structuring a virtual agent: flows and playbooks. Flows are best suited for deterministic, linear conversations with a clear objective, such as a transactional agent for food ordering or appointment booking. However, to build the flexible loan assistant we are demonstrating, one that can handle unpredictable user turns, we will leverage the power of playbooks. Playbooks enable a more adaptable, non-linear approach, allowing the agent to manage complex, multi-turn conversations and provide more human-like interactions. At their heart, playbooks leverage large language models. To get started, open a Google search and look for the Dialogflow CX console. Click on the result that directs you to the console homepage. Before you can build your agent, you need to create a new Google Cloud project with billing enabled. I won't go through the registration details, as many resources are available on how to activate your account and set up billing. For this demonstration, I have already prepared a project, so I will simply select it from the project list to proceed. Since it is a new cloud project as a next step, we need to enable the Dialogflow API. Click the Enable button to activate it for your project. Once that's complete, you'll land on the home screen of the Conversational Agents console. From here, we can create our agent. Click on the Create Agent button and select the Build Your Own option, as we'll be building this agent from scratch. Now, let's give our agent a display name. You should also set the location, time zone, and default language according to your specific needs. For the agent's conversation start type, select Playbook. This allows us to build a chatbot based on large language models. Finally, click on the Create button, and there you have it. You have successfully set up your cloud project and created your first conversational agent. Your conversational agent is actually functional right out of the box. If you open the simulator and say, "Hi," you'll see that the underlying AI agent can already respond. However, to make it truly useful, we need to customize its behavior. In Dialogflow CX, you can define behavior using either flows or playbooks. While flows are ideal for deterministic, rigid paths, playbooks represent the generative AI-based solution. Using playbooks instead of hard-coding every response, you provide a goal and set of instructions, allowing the AI agent to handle conversations flexibly. To keep our project organized, we won't put everything into one massive prompt. Instead, we'll split the logic into three distinct playbooks. The default playbook will act as our orchestrator, driving the conversation and deciding which specific playbook or tool should be used. The other two will be task-oriented, designed to route the user back to the default playbook once their specific task is complete. Let's start with the default playbook. Every playbook requires a name, goal, and instructions. For this one, the goal is to act as a financial advisor for best flow loans, identifying user intent, and routing them to the correct tool or task. You can find the detailed instructions and source code in the blog post linked in the video description. Simply copy the instructions and paste them into the field. Next, we'll create our 2-task playbooks. The Loan Calculator playbook is responsible for collecting and validating loan requirements, while the Lead Submission playbook gathers contact information and confirms details before submitting them to a Google Sheet. Follow the same process. Define the goal, paste the instructions from the blog, and save. Currently, these playbooks exist in isolation, as you can see it on the agent overview. To link them, we head back to the default playbook instructions and look for the playbook placeholders enclosed in curly brackets. By using the $ notation followed by the specific playbook name, we can instruct the orchestrator to route the conversation when a specific intent is discovered. Once all playbooks linked, you'll see the agent overview map update to show the connection between your playbooks. Now, let's test the skeleton of our chatbot. In the preview panel, ensure the default playbook is selected as the starting point. When I say hi and ask about a £10,000 loan, the agent correctly identifies the intent and routes me to the loan calculator, which then prompts for the loan duration. The conversation might pause here because we haven't configured our functional calculator tools yet, but the agent is already following our instructions perfectly. In the next step, we will configure parameters to improve and standardize communication among playbooks. Then we will create the necessary tools to complete his behavior. The next step is to configure parameters. Parameters allow us to standardize communication between playbooks, enabling the reliable transfer of data like loan amounts or durations from one part of the agent to another. In our previous test, you might have noticed a preceding conversation summary in the simulator showing the value 10,000. By default, Dialogflow passes a summary when routing between playbooks, but this isn't always precise enough for technical tasks. To make the communication more reliable, we need to define specific input and output parameters. Let's start with the default playbook. If mentioned by the user, we want the agent to extract the loan amount and loan term from the initial request and pass them as standardized values to the calculator. Go to the Parameters tab. Here, you can define output parameters. You can find all the necessary parameter names and descriptions in the related blog post. Providing clear descriptions is vital, as it helps the AI agent identify exactly what information it needs to extract from the user's texts. However, defining output is only half the job. For the data to be received, we must create matching input parameters in the target playbook. Switch to the Loan Calculator playbook and create the same parameters with identical descriptions. If we reset the simulator and ask the same question, you'll see in the simulator panel that the precise values for the loan amount and term are now passed directly into the calculator's scope during the transition. To fully complete our use case, ensure that all relevant parameters are configured across all playbooks. The default playbook should have all these parameters configured as both input and output to maintain the data state. The loan calculator should have these as output parameters to return the results to the orchestrator. Similarly, the lead submission playbook needs them as input parameters, so it can include the full loan details when it submits the user's application to our Google Sheet. Once you've configured these parameters, we can move forward to building the actual tools to extend capabilities of our chatbot. With our playbooks successfully created, the next step is to build a knowledge base. This will allow our chatbot to answer product-specific questions using structured data from your business. I've prepared a simple questions and answers data in a Google Sheet. The structure is straightforward. Column A contains the questions, and column B contains the answers. It's important to include a header row at the top so the system can parse the data correctly. To prepare this for our agent, export this sheet as a CSV file. Now, head over to the Google Cloud Console to give this data a home. Search for cloud storage and create a new bucket. Give it a unique name and ensure you select the same region where your Dialogflow project is located. Consistency here is key for performance. Once the bucket is ready, create a folder inside and upload your exported CSV. Returning to Dialogflow, we need to connect this data via a tool. Create a new tool, name it Knowledge Base, and set the type to Data Store. When configuring the data store, select Cloud Storage and Structured Data, then browse to the folder we just created. I recommend setting the synchronization frequency to periodic. This ensures that any updates you make to your Google Sheet in the future are automatically reflected in your bot's knowledge. Finally, we need to make this knowledge available to our agent. Open your default playbook and look for the General Questions section in the instructions. Replace the placeholder with our newly created knowledge base tool and save your changes. Let's test it in the simulator. When I ask a specific question about our loan products, you'll see the default playbook invoke the knowledge tool and provide a precise answer based on our sheet. Your bot is now officially aware of your business data and ready to assist users with specific product inquiries. Now, let's create the Loan Calculator tool. This tool will allow our AI agent to perform real-time loan calculations by calling a custom Python script hosted in Google Cloud. To host our script, we'll use Google Cloud Functions. Navigate to the Cloud Console and look for Cloud Functions. Create a new function, give it a name, and choose the same region you used for your Dialogflow agent. Set the authentication to Require Authentication and click Create. Once the environment is ready, you'll need to add the code. You can find the Python script, including the main and requirements files, in our related blog post. Copy the contents, update the function entry point to match the script, and hit Deploy. After a few moments, the deployment will finish. Copy the provided URL. We'll need it to connect the script to Dialogflow. Back in Dialogflow, create a new tool named Loan Calculator and set the type to Open API. It's important to provide a brief description here so the AI understands when and why to use this tool. Next, we need to provide the Open API schema. This JSON string acts as a manual for the agent, describing how to access the URL, what input parameters are required, and what data to expect in return. Copy the JSON schema from the blog post and paste it into the configuration. Make sure to replace the server URL placeholder with the cloud function URL you just copied. For authentication, select Service Agent and choose the ID token type. Before we finalize, let's verify everything works using the test panel. Enter a sample loan amount and term. If the system returns a meaningful result, your connection is successful. The last step is to integrate this tool into our workflow. Open the Loan Calculator playbook, find the tool placeholder in the instructions, and set our new calculator tool. Now, let's run a final test in the simulator, starting from the default playbook. When I ask for the monthly payment on a 10,000 loan for 5 years, the orchestrator routes the request to the Loan Calculator playbook, which then invokes our cloud function. As you can see, the bot responds with the exact calculation result. our loan calculator is now fully functional. For our final step, we'll create the lead submission tool. This allows our agent to save customer details directly into a Google Sheet when they express interest in a loan. We'll start by creating another cloud function, following the same process as before. Use the same region as your agent and set it to require authentication. First, prepare the Python environment by copying the main and requirements files content from our blog post into the Cloud Function Editor. Next, create a Google Sheet to store your leads, copy its unique sheet ID, and update the placeholders in your main file with the sheet ID and sheet name. Once the placeholders are updated, hit Deploy. Once the function is deployed, navigate to the Security tab and copy the service account's email address. You must share your Google Sheet with this email and grant it editor permissions, so the script has the authority to write new data to the file. Next, you need to enable the Google Sheets API in the Cloud Console to allow the function to communicate with your spreadsheet. Back in Dialogflow, create one last tool. Give it a meaningful name and set the type to OpenAPI. Provide a clear description and paste the schema from the blog post, ensuring the server URL matches your new cloud function. Set the authentication to Service Agent with an ID token and save. Finally, link this tool to the Sending Lead playbook in the instructions field. Now, we can run a full end-to-end test. Complete a loan calculation, then tell the bot you'd like a callback. Provide your contact details when prompted, and once the bot confirms the submission, check your Google Sheet. You'll see the customer lead and all their loan details recorded instantly. The final step is creating examples. Much like standard AI prompting, examples are essential for fine-tuning your bot's behavior and ensuring its responses are precise. While Dialogflow offers an automatic way to save examples from the simulator, I recommend the manual method for much higher accuracy. To create an example manually, select your playbook and navigate to the Examples tab. Here, you will build the conversation turn by turn. Start by adding a user input entry. For instance, a request for a monthly payment. Then add an agent response, where the bot confirms the user's intent. When your logic requires another playbook, add a playbook invocation entry. In this step, you must define the target playbook and the technical details of the transfer. This includes the preceding conversation summary to provide context and the specific input parameters, like the loan amount that you want to pass to the sub-playbook. Set the playbook state to OK to signal a successful completion. Since examples are playbook specific, you don't need to design all the turns of the invoked playbook. We simply indicate where the handoff should occur. Crucially, you also need to define the execution summary and the output parameters that the sub-playbook returns. For our calculator, this means specifying the precise values for the loan term, monthly payment, and APR. By defining these here, you are teaching the orchestrator exactly what information to expect back. One of the most powerful uses for examples is controlling formatting. After the playbook invocation, add another agent response, where you present the results. By defining this response in a specific style, like a bulleted list, you can force the bot to consistently follow that format. Once you've defined the final summary and set the conversation state to OK, save your example. Now, when you test the same query in the simulator, you'll see the agent follows your example precisely, organizing the results into the clean, formatted list we defined. This is how you move from a basic AI agent to a professional, business-ready chatbot. The final step is to deploy your chatbot to your website. To begin, we need to create stable versions for all of our work. Open each playbook and tool one by one, navigate to version history, and create a version with a meaningful name, for example, version 1. Once you have versions for all your components, go to Environments. Create a new environment, such as Production, and assign the specific versions of each playbook and tool you'd like to publish. Save your changes to lock in the configuration. With the environment set up, navigate to the Integrations tab and select Conversational Messenger. Click Connect and choose your newly created environment. Since we are building a public chatbot, select the Unauthenticated API to allow anonymous visitors to access the bot. You can also customize the UI using a pop-up or side panels, and optionally restrict the integration to your specific domain for security. After enabling the messenger, Dialogflow will provide a JavaScript snippet. Copy this code and embed it into your website. The predefined code also includes CSS styles, which you can modify to fine-tune the bot's visual appearance. You can use the Try It Now button to see exactly how your bot looks and behaves on a live page. Congratulations! Your chatbot is now live and ready to interact with your users. Enjoy your new AI-powered assistant.